Can you speak to the urgency as to why this week and what you told Speaker Johnson to bring him to this point?
Sure, Joe. Well, the intelligence is very clear. Ukraine is at a critical point, as the speaker just said. They are running out of ammunition. Russia is certainly surging and putting additional pressure on that front line. And also the lack of U.S. support is impacting morale even in Ukraine. But their ability to be able to sustain the fight, and they are fighting honorably to keep Russia from taking additional ground in Ukraine is essential. Also, we have the issue of in this package, I think this will result in the administration giving additional weapons capabilities to Ukraine, so we can change the dynamics on the battlefield. They need longer range weapons. They need to be able to hit Crimea. They need to be able to hit the supply lines of Russia as they're coming into Ukraine as part of this aggression. And I think this package is desperately needed to turn the tide on this conflict and support Ukraine.
But, sir, how quickly can it do so? You speak of changing the dynamics on the ground. How quickly can this make a difference in a fight that Ukraine is already engaged in, knowing there may be a lag for them to receive some of this?
Right. So, I've asked this question both to our Department of Defense. We had the U.S. ambassador from Ukraine, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine that was here with us today. All of them report that we are poised to be able to get this aid to them immediately. So if this package passes, and I think it will overwhelmingly this Saturday, the United States is poised to make certain that the ammunition is in the hands of the Ukrainians and that they're able to take it directly to the fight with Russia.
There's been a call for border funding as well. Of course, this was a big debate leading into the Senate bill that passed. I know border aid was a question in the Senate, Congressman, and there was an attempt to get some border legislation cleared through rules last evening. It didn't work out. Congressman Chip Roy, your colleague from Texas, issued a statement saying, sorry, not sorry, for opposing a crappy rule that is a show vote, a cover vote for funding Ukraine instead of border security. The refrain we've been hearing from the Republican conference is protect our own border before we do so our allies. Will there be a border peace that comes along with this legislation this weekend?
The House has already passed H.R. 2 that would effectively complete the border wall and close the border, and at the same time hold accountable the administration for what they've created in this open border situation where over 8 million people.
It didn't get a single Democratic vote, though, Mr. Chairman. Will it be attached to this package again for another look?
We'll have to see what the final package is that comes off the House floor Saturday. But currently, it is not expected to be attached to the Ukrainian funding, the Israeli funding, and the funding for Southeast Asia. But this bill is sitting over in the Senate, and it is a bill that needs to pass. Overwhelmingly, the American public are just disgusted and just shocked that the administration is not doing anything to protect what is the environment, the threat environment that we have in the country as a result of these 8 million people who walked across the border. The FBI director has repeatedly said that we're at the highest threat level currently for a terrorist attack in this country as a result of the open border. The Biden administration needs to take action, and certainly this House has with H.R. 2, and the Senate should take up that bill immediately.
Well, Mr. Chairman, as you rightly point out, it's not just aid for Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan that are included. There are other elements as well. But on the subject of Israel, of course, we are still waiting to see what the response from Israel might be to the Iranian attack over this past weekend, which, of course, the U.S., together with others like the U.K., did intercept the vast majority of what was sent Israel's way. Knowing that that attack largely was unsuccessful, what would be a proportionate response from Israel? Is it possible in your mind, sir, that Israel could go too far?
We'll leave up to Israel what their response should be. But first off, let's put this in perspective. Unfortunately, this administration believes that if you use missile defense to thwart an attack, that the attack didn't happen. The attack did happen. Iran attacked Israel directly from its soil with over 300 drones and missiles. Previously, though, Iran has been continuously attacking Israel through Hamas, Hezbollah, and, of course, through the Houthis have been even attacking our commercial shipping lanes. They train them, they equip and provide them weapons to these groups and terrorist organizations. Of course, Hamas perpetrating the October 7th attack on Israel. So Iran already has been attacking Israel. This is the first time that it was direct. And certainly I don't think that just because missile defense is effective that Iran or the United States should look the other way.
So if the attacker doesn't lay a glove on you, you still respond, is what you're saying, Mr. Chairman. But what is a proportionate response? What could Israel do here as a military answer that would not wear on the alliance that includes the UK, France, and others? This has been a very delicate matter, of course, domestically for President Biden. What's the right move?
Well, certainly they won't be sending 300 missiles and kamikaze drones into Iran. So I think if you're asking for what is a proportionate issue, I think certainly Israel's not going to be responding at the same level that Iran did. Iran sent a lethal force toward Israel, and just because we have invested with them, we've co-developed their missile defense, and of course we aided. And as you rightly reported, Joe, the UK was part of that umbrella that gave missile defense its ability to take down these missiles. But this was a serious threat and attack by Iran, and it should be viewed as such.
Sir, we'd like to turn back to just the affairs in your chamber with our final minutes with you, knowing that the cost of bringing aid for Israel and Ukraine and everyone else to the floor may be ultimately the Speaker's gavel. What is your degree of confidence that Mike Johnson, having said today that he will not change the rules that allows any one member to bring forward a motion to vacate, is going to be able to make it out the other side of this? Is it a mistake for him not to change those rules? Would that be a better decision?
Now, Speaker Johnson is being incredibly courageous, and you've heard him as you were reporting. He is saying he's doing the right thing, and certainly he should be rewarded for doing the right thing. Bringing this bill to the floor so that we can pass this on to the Senate and send it to the president's desk is essential for our national security. And I think overwhelmingly the membership of Congress is thankful that he's doing so. Now, I don't think that the small band of the Chaos Caucus, those who want to remove Johnson, have the votes on the Democrat side to be able to remove him. You have to remember that the small group that removed Kevin McCarthy could only do so with the support of the Democrats on the floor. And I think this time that if they go to the floor, they're going to stand alone. They'll be a very small minority. They'll be exposed for being a very small minority, and they will be unsuccessful.